All right, so we've come down to our last measurement that we typically see on a tape measure. So we've done 1 inch, half inch, quarter inch, 8 inch. You can probably guess what the next one is, 1/16 of an inch. Okay, so you can see we've kind of gone in half every single time. Now, some tape measures actually go even smaller than that. They'll go to 1/32 of an inch. That's not nearly as common. You won't see that very frequently. You really only need to go down to 1/32 of an inch if you're using, like, doing fine carpentry, like countertops, or if you're going to do cupboards and things like that. Otherwise, you're really not going to use it in your day-to-day measurements. Most things can be broken down into 1/16 of an inch as the smallest. So when you're looking at that idea of 1/16 of an inch, what that means is I've again broken my number from 0 to 1 into 16 different sections. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way up to 16. Okay? So that's your smallest measurement that you're going to see, which means that you're also going to have the smallest line in between the 0 and the 1. So again, the longest lines that you see on a tape measure are the inches. Following that is the half inch, then the quarter, then the eighth, and then the 16th. Okay? So you can see, and that makes sense. The 16th is the smallest size. 1/16 is a lot smaller than 1/2. Therefore, that line itself is a lot smaller. So to write it, if again I'm measuring from here over, start with a 0. My tape measure stops here. I know that is 7/16 of an inch. So I write 7/16 of an inch. And again, this still applies regardless of whatever you're measuring. So again, if I wanted to change this to, let's say, 7 and 8 inches, okay, and my tape measure stopped, let's say, right there, I go, okay, it's between 7 and 8, because it's more than 7 and not quite 8 inches. So I know for sure it's 7 inches and something. So I write 7. And then what I need to check is I need to see, okay, where exactly does it actually stop in between the 7 and the 8? So I see it's past the half inch and just a little bit past the half inch itself. And so I can see here it actually stops on my 9/16 of an inch. Okay, so it would read as 7 and 9/16. And again, you know it's correct because I've got my odd number up top and my even number below. So if I ever had something like 8/16, that doesn't make any sense because that can be further reduced down to 1/2 of an inch. Okay, so a good way of thinking about it realistically is that every single tape measure you see is always broken up into 1/16 of an inch. So they're broken up into 16 even parts. You got your first 16th, your second 16, and again, we wouldn't write 2/16 because we got the even number up here. 2/16 works out to be 1/8. I have my 3/16, I have my 4/16, and again, you can tell, we don't want to have 4/16 because that 4 and that 16 can be further reduced down to 1/4. And then we keep going, 5/16, again, we wouldn't do 6/16 because that can be reduced to 3/8. 7/16, 8/16, again, we wouldn't keep 8/16, we reduce that down to 1/2. And you keep going all the way through. And that kind of makes more sense. So if you really are having trouble counting it out, if you're really having trouble just looking at the measurement and knowing what it is, one trick you can do is simply break it down into 1/16 of an inch. Okay, remember that. And just simply count how many 16s there are. So if I know that, I'm going all the way to here. It's between 7 and 8. I can simply count how many inches there are. So I know it's going to be 7 inches. I just know that's between 7 and 8. I'm just going to count how many 16s there are. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have 12 16ths. Well, again, doesn't make any sense. You can't have 12 16ths. So what am I going to do? Oh, both of them are divisible by 4. So 12 divided by 4 is 3. 16 divided by 4 is 4. So it's 7 3/4. So 7 and 12/16 is the exact same as 7 3/4. So just when you get into further questions when they're all kind of mixed up, this is one technique you can use to help you understand how to actually read a tape measure from any number itself. Okay? Good luck and keep going.